Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of HR to CHRO podcast. And today we have Mr. Indranil Dhar with us, who started his career in army. And then, after working in army for many years, decades, that he shifted to HR. And after army, he joined um, uh, Mahindra Sustain as AGM HR after around 20 years experience in army, 25 years experience in army, and then he was head HR at Water Health India. Then he was at Radiant Sky Vaults, and then EverEnviro, and now he's head HR at Resolute Group of Companies. So thank you, Indranil. Thanks for giving us time. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Amit, for the intro. It's my privilege to be a part of this podcast.
So,
And special thanks to Kushalta for inviting me.
so this is the first time we are having an ex-army officer enlighten our viewers on how they can rise in their career, because that is the context of these podcasts, HR to CHRO. So how can young professionals or mid-level professionals, how can they can rise in their career? So to start with, why did you decide to shift from army to HR, and why specifically to HR? You could have gone to administration, you could have gone to so many other management related positions, but why did you decide to restart your or to start your corporate career in HR per se? Indranil?
Okay. So, to answer your first part of the question, why did I quit? That was completely due to personal reasons, long periods of separation. I had a growing up daughter in 2016. It's been 10 years now. Uh, my family needed me more, and I
Understood.
had already done my bit for the nation. I had decided to take the call, and that is how I had left. Now, coming to your second part of the question, why human resources? Why not administration? Why not something else? See, in those 20 years in the army, I was exposed to a lot of high tech machines, products, arms and ammunition, strategy, technology. I realized, as I grew up in the armed forces, that organizations don't succeed because of machines, technology, strategy. That yes, it does play its part, but the major reason any organization succeeds is because people execute consistently under pressure.
Correct.
So people management was always fascinating for me. And I had managed a different set of people in those 20 years with different ethos and different kind of upbringing, different kind of training levels. Here in the corporate world, irrespective of the industry, every individual is different.
Correct.
So the one size fits all template doesn't work here. And that was really very fascinating for me. So I wanted to explore, what what is different, what is what can I contribute from my learnings into the corporate, what can I uh, how can corporate HR or human resources benefit from my experience. And of course, I, being from the army, discipline
Correct.
and problem solving along with firefighting was part of my second nature. So that is how I made the switch into HR. Administration is a boring job as for me. Though it is important, of course, it is very important. But
Correct.
handling people is a different ball game and a different art altogether. So that's the reason for choosing HR.
Correct. So handling people is definitely much more exciting than anything else, in case you are looking
Yes.
for a challenge. So, see, I'm sure it must not have been easy, as we were talking in the starting also. Before this, we started the podcast, shifting from something where you have worked for 20 odd years and becoming very regimented or ingrained into behaving in a certain way. And army, that way, is a very simple black or white life, simple.
Yes, there are no shades of gray.
It's
It's a binary. It's either zero or it's one. You're right in that aspect.
so
Absolutely agree.
So apart from the job profile, which was handling people challenges, just accustoming yourself or getting used to the corporate world life would it in itself would have been such a big challenge.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
this, apart from the other traits like discipline, problem solving, firefighting, what are the other secrets of success that you have that helped you in reach the HR head level, in your corporate career? But to start with, handling challenges. How was that experience of coming into corporate world from army, and then how did you handle challenges and some examples also, if you could share?
Okay. So you made me relive the old memories taking back as long as 10 years back. So I'll tell you a few challenges which I can remember offhand. The first one was, learning compliance and labor laws.
which
Okay.
again has again maybe some relearning is happening.
Yes, that was a huge challenge because labor law and compliances was completely off the shelf for me. We never had to because the army doesn't follow labor laws. We have the Army Act and the Army rules.
Correct.
Second challenge was handling blue collar workforce
Okay.
with different educational background. Somebody is a matriculate, somebody is a intermediate, somebody is a graduate, somebody is a ITI, somebody is a diploma. The third challenge was credibility issues. You see, people from the armed forces are typically typecasted. Like this guy must be a good administrator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll be good in admin,
Mm-hmm.
good with people from the armed forces, but maybe he cannot handle the millennials or the Gen Zs.
Mm-hmm.
Are Bollywood movies which used to show earlier. I'm not talking of today's Bollywood movies. They are more closer to reality.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking of late, the mid 2000s, 15s and all. They generally used to show, people from the armed forces as typically, accustomed to having a drink or two every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, having those grand parties,
Correct.
pot- and behaving a mustache and behaving in a very stiff manner. So building up credibility was another challenge. I'll be very upfront with you. Though, of course, armed forces, you were always on standby 24 by 7. A misnomer about human resources is that it is a 9 to 5 job. You punch in at 9 and you go out at 5.
Correct.
Even I fell into that trap. I used to feel, okay, it's a civil world, so I come in at 9 and I go out at 5. Unfortunately, that's rarely true. Yes, if you want to learn, you need to clock in long hours in the initial stages.
Correct.
Operational pressures, the huge challenge, the biggest challenge, of course, other than what else, was to learn business.
Very nice.
Because HR, I believe, is one of those very few limited functions wherein you need to understand human emotions and match it with business mathematics.
Correct.
If you don't know what you're selling, if you don't know what your organization is making money from, if you don't know what is revenue, if you don't know what expenses, if you don't know what is cost heads, overheads, cost centers, it's very difficult. So the first 1 year or so, it was more into, these were the biggest challenges. So you see, if you don't understand business dynamics, if you don't understand cost centers, if you don't understand P&L,
Mm-hmm.
right? Understanding P&L, EBITDA margins, understanding finance is one of the biggest, I would say, contributor in becoming an HR professional.
Okay.
People think otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
People think I'm a human resources professional. My domain is strictly limited to handling people and processes. I'm sorry, but this is far away from the truth. You need to understand business first. Only then you will be able to excel in your role in HR. That's the biggest lesson I learned very early.
Okay. So we have talked about compliances and labor laws handling blue collar workers, establishing credibility, learning business, any other challenge or any other secret of success, any challenge which you recognize as a secret of success that if you start doing it well, you'll succeed or do better?
Okay, Amir. So, see, contrary to popular or the perceived notion or a general perception in the industry, be it any industry, see, success in HR is not about visibility. Please, this is my mantra.
Okay.
Success in HR is not about visibility. It is about four factors, which I mean, this is my own personal belief. First is reliability.
Mm-hmm.
Second is knowledge of the business. The
Mm-hmm.
third is being consistent. And fourth is building credibility. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're reliable, you know the business, you're consistent, and you're credible, I think
Mm-hmm.
nothing can stop you.
Very nice. So some examples where how did you do all these four, all four of them? Some situations which you can maybe remember and share with us. How do you dealt with that, and how did it help you in achieving success?
Okay. So I will talk about different timelines in my career. So when I just came out from the armed forces and I was in Mahindra Sustain. So Mahindra Sustain is a greenfield solar company which executes projects from scratch and hands it over to the O&M team, operations and maintenance team. So these are, so as you know, solar projects are not based in cities.
Correct.
They're very desolate, open places far away from cities and towns.
Correct.
So this necessitates people either staying in very isolated places,
Mm-hmm.
shared accommodation,
Mm-hmm.
shared kitchens,
Mm-hmm.
eating food in canteens,
Mm-hmm.
6 to 7 people traveling in a six-seater,
Mm-hmm.
long distances,
Mm-hmm.
or even sometimes staying in a container
Oh,
with a washroom.
okay.
Okay, on a sharing basis. So absolutely zero privacy. So I came from a background wherein I used to live, I mean, both in field and in peace locations. I had my own privacy. I had my own washroom. I had people to look after my space when I'm at work. Yeah, used to just pushing a bell and somebody coming with a cup of tea and that kind of stuff.
Correct.
The transition suddenly from getting everything at the press of a button to doing things yourself, right from cooking food, yeah, making your own cup of tea, cleaning your own shoes, washing your own clothes, right, uh, sweeping your room, mopping your room. Yes, that was, I mean, a real eye opener for me in those initial stages. But as I started doing it, I realized the concept of dignity of labor. No work is too small or too big in life. When you do it yourself, you then put yourself in the shoes of people who actually do it. That really opened my eyes and broadened my horizons. So, this was something in the initial years. Maybe after 4 or 5 years, when I changed my organization to WaterHealth India,
Mm-hmm.
that was an organization which had three subsidiaries: India, Ghana, and Nigeria. Now, Ghana and Nigeria, as you know, are in African.
Correct.
So that is where I was exposed to a concept of work ethics and work environment of different countries.
Mm-hmm.
I was there in the United Nations as a military observer in Sudan in 2008 and 9, wherein I got my first exposure of working in a multinational environment. But there I was just a placeholder. Here, I from a placeholder I became a stakeholder.
Correct.
Yeah. So I was heading HR for all these three verticals: India, Ghana, as well as Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me an exposure into, how to handle, expats,
Mhm.
deal with people from different nationalities.
Mhm.
Each nation has its own work culture.
Mhm.
And then when I joined, I had a short stint at Gurgaon
Mhm.
a couple of years back. There I was exposed to the complete corporate kind of you know atmosphere, because I used to work at DLF Cyber City, Building 2 Alpha.
Mhm.
That is completely, that the organization was called EverEnviro Resource Management Private Limited.
Mhm.
Here I was completely exposed to the corporate side of, doing business and HR, because that is a different world altogether. And that was a very good learning. And here at Resolute Group, and before in my stint at Radiant, this is where I got exposed to dealing with labor laws, the blue collar workforce, belonging to different regions of the country. A blue collar workforce in Maharashtra, managing and handling them is completely different from handling a blue collar workforce in, say, the NCR, or, in places like Telangana, Hyderabad, where I stay, or in Chennai. Each state has its own ethos, its own work culture, and each industry,
Mhm.
blue collar workers' experience and qualifications and the way they behave is completely different. So I would say basically these were the memories which I have to answer your main question, the key challenges and what I learned from it.
Very nice. So your the skills instilled by the army of discipline, problem solving, firefighting, how did they help you navigate the HR space, your corporate journey? Can you share some examples, some anecdotes?
Okay. See, the skills in which were imbibed during the armed forces days, how they came handy to me as I continued my journey in the past 10 years. First is dispute resolution.
Okay.
It is a common misconception that the armed forces work like a well-oiled machine. They are also part of the same society.
Correct.
Yeah, the men and women who serve in the armed forces come from the same society where we live, you and me live.
Correct.
So there are disputes. There are cases wherein people don't see eye to eye with each other. So dispute resolution was something which really my previous experience had helped me.
Mhm.
Second is controlling attrition.
Okay.
People nowadays use AI tools and trackers and surveys and AI, and there are so many platforms which does something called as predictive analysis. My theory to control attrition is very simple. Nothing can replace a human being talking to another human being. A chatbot will ask questions which will ask you either to give a rating between a 1 and a 5, or a 1 or a 10, or classify a statement into strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree.
Correct.
It becomes a mechanical part, and people are generally hesitant to write feedback.
Correct.
So when you replace a chatbot or AI with an actual human being and talk to people, understand their problems, and give solutions before they decide to click on the send button, it really helps in controlling attrition. And the third thing is, the ability to understand human emotions and solve, professional as well as personal problems. People generally don't open up at the workspace about personal issues. It may be marital discord, it may be sibling rivalry, it may be an issue between parents,
Mhm.
somebody's child is, not performing the way the father or the mother expects him or her to perform.
Mhm.
He is not coming up to the level of expectations which his or her parents. So these are all human emotions and problems.
Correct.
So having exposure in the armed forces and talking to people in a calm and relaxed environment, and solving problems, personal problems as well as professional problems, this background really helped me to get under the teeth of these issues. And the fourth issue is, like I told you, crisis management, which was at its peak during COVID.
Correct.
Armed forces as a concept wherein you lead by example.
Correct.
You are at the front and you tell others, follow me. It is not you are at the back and you say, go ahead, I am with you.
Correct.
Right? During COVID, majority of the industries or majority of the people, due to but obvious reasons, nobody wants to lose his or her life to a virus, right?
Correct.
Everybody withdrew behind, and pushing others into, I would say, a contaminated area or a possibly infected area, while everybody. So I had to do the opposite. Of course, wearing my complete PPE, covered
Mhm.
face mask and goggles and all, spectacles, go into the shop floor before anybody else goes. Of
Mhm.
course, it is completely disinfected to give people the trust that, see, if I am here
Mhm.
with you,
Mhm.
don't see a problem with all of you being here. It's fine. Come inside. We can all work. We are in it together. This really helped me because people used to panic,
Correct.
not coming to work. Then word started spreading. The head HR himself comes half an hour before. He sees that everything is sanitized, all the washrooms are clean, the shop floor is completely sanitized. It's safe. Let's go. It's safe. Let's go. And looking at this, the departmental heads, plant heads, various other people at the mid and the senior managerial level also started leading by example.
Very nice.
That helped us bring confidence, and we are amongst the few companies in the country which reopened. So, if you remember, the lockdown was imposed on the 23rd of March.
Correct.
We reopened before the national lockdown reopened. We reopened on the 1st of May,
Okay.
20 Labor Day. I remember the day very carefully because it's a holiday for all under the Factories and the Establishments Factories Act.
Correct.
So Labor Day, we took the day to first come inside, all the staff, employees. We didn't call the blue collar. We had detailed discussions, meeting. We had COVID cases. I also myself was infected thrice. In the first case, I had to be hospitalized for about 7 days, which was the Delta wave, which was very severe. I also got the Omicron twice, which was less severe but more infectious. So, leading by example, we are amongst the, like I just told you, maybe you can count them on your fingers, plants which operated non-stop 24 by 7 from 1st of May 2020, two shifts, day and night, without a single disruption
Very
during
nice.
the period of pandemic, just by leading by example. So
Very
when
nice.
the people, the mid management, senior management, and the CXO level people inside walking before them and conveying a message, hey, it's safe to work, it's okay. And if something happens, we are all there in this together. Don't worry. It really helped us.
Very powerful. Very powerful, Indranil. So, see, one question I wanted to ask. See, during our corporate training workshops, we train the leadership teams and sales teams and mid-level teams. So, there are many a times we find that, or let me ask your perception. So, you have seen both the worlds. You have seen a highly regimented, where there is no option but to do what is required,
Yes.
compared to corporate world where people have so much potential, but because of various reasons they are not able to achieve that potential.
Yes.
So from your perspective, what are the what are the two or three big points that you have noticed in the corporate world, the which are the prime reasons why people are not able to achieve their potential, and how should they go about it?
Well, that's a very controversial as well as an interesting question. And I'll have to do justice to both the worlds from where I used to exist and where I exist now. But I'll be fair and honest. That's very important. See, training in the armed forces is always structured to deliver an outcome.
Okay.
The outcome is measured, tracked till the time it is achieved, and then you go to the next level. I'm not saying corporate trainings are not like that. Corporate training, any kind of training, which I have attended in these past 10 years, which I have conducted, the first 15 minutes to 20 minutes goes into what is called as breaking the ice and bonding. You don't have to do this in the armed forces. There's nothing called as breaking the ice. People are already well known to each other. People have seen each other for quite some time. But it's unavoidable in corporate because there is turnover. New people keep joining. You can't ignore, you have to know with whom are you working, right? That's one difference. The second difference is corporate training में हम लोग ना बहुत ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाते हैं. We put in a lot of effort on designing and the flow. The issue is once the program is over, everything becomes a memory.
Correct.
So people enjoy the conduct to an extent that the only memory you have maybe after a couple of weeks is, oh, the lunch was excellent. Yeah,
Correct.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly right.
Superb. It was Taj West End. It was lovely. Good venue. Khana was very good. Evening snacks were out of the world. That's the only memory which remains after a couple of weeks because nobody follows up, Amit.
Correct.
So that day, people are very enthusiastic. They fill in all the activities. They do all the activities together, and people really enjoy doing it. Even I enjoy doing those activities. It's fun because you leave all your work pressure and everything behind, and you are there in it so it's an intense dopamine inducing event for a few hours. As the days pass away, as the weeks pass away, the only memories that are left is the food, the venue.
Correct.
And if the trainer happens to be uh, a presentable person or a very engaging person, you have some vague memories of the trainer.
Correct.
But you actually forget what did you learn? What have you carried forward? How does it help the business?
Correct. In life in general, corporate life vis-a-vis military life, what that blockage do you see, or what is the hindrance which people in the corporate world, because they are so talented, they have so many facilities, tools, and techniques available to them, but still the number of people who end up reaching the CXO level is, as per some reports, is only 0.5%. Very
That's
few
correct.
people achieve success in their career. So, what are those blockages or hindrances which you see? Maybe are the real reasons? It's not the talent, it's not the skill, it's not something else. It's those. What are those hindrances which prevent people from achieving their potential?
Okay, that's very interesting. I can take this. So first thing is people take training as something which is routine
Okay.
and something which is organized as part of corporate culture. So the use of the word training itself uh, is a bit jarring to me. So that's why it's called, either you call it learning
Mhm.
or you call it upskilling.
Correct.
training is something which is used in the armed forces, where
Okay.
you train for a mission, for
Correct.
an outcome.
Correct.
Corporate, you don't need to be trained. You're already trained. That's why you are in that job.
Correct.
You're already trained. You're in that job. You need to upskill yourself to go to the next level.
Correct.
You need to learn what you don't know. So people forget that to learn, you also need to unlearn. To learn something, you also need to unlearn.
Correct.
Otherwise, you get stuck in one kind of template. So people don't succeed because firstly they have a mental block in unlearning things. ये तो ऐसे ही होता है.
Correct.
इस प्रॉब्लम का यही सॉल्यूशन है. This is the template.
Correct.
To give an example, बहुत attrition high हो रहा है. क्या करें? Let's do some employee engagement activities. Let's plan for an outing. Let's do some bonding. Uh, Talented people who are leaving, let's match their offer. These are all stale and typical, solutions. Same template. It doesn't work like that.
Correct.
So you first need to unlearn what you have learned earlier if you want to go ahead in life.
Mm-hmm.
And upskilling. There are skills. There are skills which are professional. There are skills which are personal, social skills, communication skills. So it's a complete 360-degree template
Mm-hmm.
which we need to take learning and development. Learning and development is a much more acceptable word to me, but not training. You
And
don't train in corporate. You're already trained. That's why you are where you are. But if
correct.
you want to go to the next level, you need to learn. And to learn, you need to unlearn
Correct.
and keep in pace with the latest skills. So that is one hindrance which I see why people don't rise beyond a particular level because they have a mental block.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another hindrance which I feel is people don't keep records.
Okay.
People don't keep records. See, every training you do or learning session, whichever happens in corporate, I'm sure they all get handouts, they get notes,
Mm-hmm.
they do activity sheets which they keep, which they are, which they get to keep with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, all that gets stored in the house in some corner and gets disposed with the newspapers as they pile up
Mm-hmm.
over a period of time,
Mm-hmm.
or it comes to the office and stays in some cupboard or drawer and gets removed only once you quit the organization. Oh, ye bhi tha, dalo so. See, those pamphlets, those handouts, those exercises, they were meant to make you learn something new, develop some portion of yourself as a human being, as a professional. You need to make notes and you need to apply them in your day to day work.
Right.
Only then is the benefit of that learning session going to flow into your work experience.
Correct.
I think the risk of the hesitation to unlearn and the hesitation or the inability to take notes or apply what you have learned into your work flow are two major challenges.
Correct. As compared to army, where the learning process is a normal part of the daily life or weekly life. Some learning,
Yes,
some other learning, new learning. Okay. See, we discussed that the four factors which help people succeed or which you found help people succeed in a corporate career are reliability, business knowledge, consistency, and credibility. So, for a
absolutely.
young HR professional or a young professional in any domain who's starting his or her career, how can he or she build or show reliability that he or she is a reliable guy? What does he or she need to do?
Okay. Throughout my corporate career, whenever I meet a youngster, a fresher, or somebody with, say, 1 or 2 years of experience, when I meet him or her, I always say one important thing that if you don't understand how the company earns money, you will never be a strategic HR leader.
Very nice.
You need to understand how the company makes money. Only then will you become a strategic HR leader, or else you will remain confined to a manager, a senior manager in a sub vertical of HR. You will be a L&D expert, you will be a talent acquisition expert, but उससे ऊपर आप उठ नहीं पाओगे. Please understand how money is made in the company. So problem is young HR professionals always they stay confined to only HR processes. You
Correct.
need to understand production, sales, costing, quality, customer retention, customer relationship management. How is productivity measured? What are margins? What is P&L statement? So I think this really matters, and policy matters. Policies do matter, but judgment matters more.
Okay.
Rules are the same,
Mhm.
but human beings are different.
Correct.
So you need to balance empathy and discipline.
Correct.
The next aspect is communication. You need to be a very good communicator, because a badly written email or a badly worded communication spoils everything.
Correct.
And most important in today's world is you need to develop analytical capability. You need to understand dashboards, productivity metrics, attrition analysis, manpower costing, trends in absenteeism, recruitment, compliances. You have to stay away from the noise. So you see, especially today's generation, the youngsters, they are overloaded with career advice, shortcuts, social media success stories. You know, so people like, oh, this guy is so successful. 6 months mein, he's getting this so-called package of this many LPA. Look at his work culture. He's reached here. Oh, he gets a cab, AC cab, pick up and drop. Wow, he reports directly to the chairman. Here's my piece. Real growth is actually unusually slow. It's very, very disciplined, and it is completely invisible in the first 3, 4 years of your life. It's not what you see on social media, and there are no shortcuts to success.
Very,
Absolutely.
very
So
nice.
that's to today's generation. Don't go by optics. Don't compare yourself to what somebody in your course mate, your batchmate, your classmate. Don't compare yourself to where he or she is here. Today's world is extremely unpredictable. Suddenly you hear, oh, that guy was doing so well. Oh my God, 18,000 people were laid off. Now he's asking for a job. So, जो दिखता है वो actually नहीं बिकता है. This is the reverse of sales and marketing, but in real life, what you see is not what you sell, or what sells actually. In
Correct.
real life, growth is unusually slow, painful, and invisible. You can't see it, but you don't know how you're growing. You need to be patient and you need to be consistent. That's very important.
So, how did you start learning about business coming from the army background in the initial few years? Or to put it in a different way, how should a young HR professional learn more about business? What should he or she do?
A young HR professional, generally, how he or she begins his or her career is into a subvertical of HR,
Okay.
right? Somebody comes in as a recruitment executive, or somebody's operations, HR operations, learning and development, after doing their MBA in HR, learning and development, lead or executive, employee engagement lead executive, you know, talent management executive, and so on and so forth. If you remain confined to your domain,
Mhm.
so the first step should be you unlearn theory, what is taught to you in college. The real world is completely different from theories.
Correct.
Theory is good for you to fall back upon when you want to understand a concept. Real world is applying those concepts to daily situations. So concepts have to be very clear. There's no denying that. You need to be very good in theory, no denying. But how you apply those concepts, firstly within your subvertical, and then you need to learn about your other subverticals in HR.
Mhm.
What are the other subverticals doing? So here the support of the HR head or the senior management in HR is something which is really, really important.
Mhm.
They make people learn new skills, firstly within the vertical, and then start exposing them towards business. So the person, see, there are, so I'll give you a typical example. Recruitment. The guy or girl sitting in recruitment has to interact with all functions
Correct.
because he or the service provider to everybody. If finance wants a, let's say, a cashier or a cash accountant, the young recruiter just walks up to the finance head, speaks, sir, what exactly are you looking for in this role? नहीं उसका जेडी बना हुआ है आप देख लो.
Mhm.
Understood, sir, but can you explain to me? I need to understand so that I can give you the perfect guy or girl so that you don't waste your time
Mhm.
in, interviewing people.
Mhm.
The finance manager or the head will be more than happy to explain.
Mhm.
You just can't walk in initially and say, मुझे आप business समझाओ. आप
Mhm.
कैसे? Like, it's not your job.
Mhm.
So you start slowly, you start steadily, you start understanding. You go to a purchase guy, you ask, you are looking for a purchase manager.
Mhm.
What exactly do you want?
Mhm.
He will say, what a non-bomb purchase manager.
Mhm.
Sir, what is non-bomb?
Mhm.
So he will give you, hey, you don't know what is non-bomb? You say, no, sir, I have no exposure to purchase. Can you please explain? The other guy will be more than happy. Okay, bomb is bill of materials. Non-bomb is non-bill of materials.
Mhm.
So you learn
Mhm.
over a period of time. That is, you can't learn everything in 1 month.
Mhm.
It has to be so steady and like a termite, you have to keep nibbling at the wood
Mhm.
for months together for the wood to get destroyed.
Mhm.
Wood here is knowledge.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Nibbling
Mhm.
धीरे 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 consistently over a period of time till the time you reach the next level
Mhm.
and then have a personal relationship with the person. Tomorrow maybe the CRM guy will explain to you the principles of logistics warehousing.
Mhm.
Then you can get into costing. How do you contribute? How do you calculate the, how do you do rate contracts? How do you do piece contracts?
Mhm.
So HR person needs to get out of his subvertical first, learn about the entire HR function, and then branch out into various functions of business. There
Very,
is no other.
very powerful. See, one question. So, to learn about the other subverticals of HR, how can one go about it? Should one go and talk to the HR head or the immediate supervisor, or should one have always be on a lookout for taking up projects as a stretch assignment? That okay, I'm doing this, I'll continue doing this, but can I also take up this project? Uh, what is the
This
best?
is where I had told Amit the role of the HR head is very, very vital. You
Hmm.
need to have a very supportive and understanding HR head who wants to develop his person and not keep that person restricted to a particular subvertical.
Hmm.
In the case you don't have this kind of a support, I
Hmm.
think the person, once he or she establishes himself as a master of his trade,
Hmm.
maybe a couple of months, 1 quarter,
Hmm.
person should automatically approach the other person
Hmm.
to, you know, say that I need to work on a stretch project. I cannot, I want to learn. Nobody is going to deny anybody the chance to learn. In fact, the people manager at the mid level and the senior level will be more than happy. Oh, I have got a new helping hand. Let me assign him. That's a very uh, powerful way to convey. Yes, you must volunteer, but once you are the master of your own trade craft.
Okay. Okay. So first get mastery of your own trade and then ask for stretch assignments.
Absolutely.
You also mentioned that establishing consistency and credibility is again very important. So a young HR professional, how should he or she create that credibility? Like being excelling in their own KRAs or KPIs. That is the way to go about it, or is it something else?
See, like I told you, work speaks, presence doesn't.
Correct.
So HR is not about showing your presence. It's about completing your assigned tasks.
Correct.
ERAs, KPIs are just tools to quantify what you have done.
Mhm.
They are important, of course, they are very important. Presence matters, relationships matter. As a HR person, you cannot be short tempered, you have to be patient, you need to have empathy.
Correct.
I'm not asking somebody to be sympathetic, but yes, you need to be empathetic towards others. I guess once these qualities are developed, I think everything falls into place after that automatically.
So one question is, seen in typical cities, Bombay, Delhi, or even at Hyderabad, I'm sure traffic is a big challenge. It takes so much time to travel. Then there are other issues, pollution and so many other issues. And a young HR professional or young professional, they already have so much on their plate. How do they find time to manage all this? How do they find time not only to excel in their own job, but also to learn about the other subdomains in their department, and then also to learn about business per se? How should they balance all this together?
See, whatever is the time, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, this is the most productive part of the day.
Okay.
So, if your workflow follows a set routine, right? I will do this from 9 to 11. During the course of the entire day, you will feel there are periods wherein the work pressure or the workflow is much less than
Okay.
the rest of the day. This is the time wherein the person, instead of getting distracted on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram,
Mhm.
time you need to actually do some research. And today with AI and Chat GPT, everything is at the tip of your fingers. Weekly off, Saturday, Sunday,
Mhm.
please develop 1 hour, allocate 1 hour. It can be any hour of the day, either early in the morning, in the middle of the day, or in the evening before you go to sleep. Just read using Chat GPT or AI. It's beautiful. Just develop 1 hour to read and understand and upskill yourselves. I can tell you these 2 hours on a weekend, 1 hour each day, adds up to, if you spend 2 hours each day, right, at the end of 1 year, right, there are 56 Sundays and 56 Saturdays. I'm not adding national holidays in between. So 56 and 56 is 112.
Correct.
100 into 2 is 224. You already have 224 hours of learning in a year. What more can you ask for? And if you are extremely busy on a Saturday, give 2 hours on a Sunday or vice versa. Simple mantra. 224 hours of learning in 1 year.
Correct. So powerful, Indranil. So, see, my takeaways so far have been, apart from whatever everything that we have discussed, specifically has been unlearning and relearning. So, people should keep on relearning, upgrading their skills. Then
Yes.
it has been planning. So, planning beforehand that these are the hours in my day where maybe I can work on stretch targets or take up stretch assignments, and then the weekly planning. So, how do I spend my some time which I can get off on weekends to upskill myself?
Yes.
This is so powerful, and that is the reason how people who reach the top, because they have the same intelligence, they have the same IQ.
They did something different, which probably somebody else did not do. It's
Correct,
simple mathematics.
correct,
Something different.
correct,
This is this is what you need to do different. You will go right up the top. There's no stopping you.
correct. So, in case we're talking about 220 hours per year, so within 10 years, it's thousands of hours. 2000.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
you
Yes.
do so much better
Yes.
in that.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
What about people at the mid level, Indranil? What should they be focused about, or what should they be working upon?
At the mid level, in today's context, I think you need to be completely hand in glove with AI.
Okay.
Completely hand in glove with AI. If you are behind the AI learning curve, you will be left far behind, and how AI can, help improve your productivity. So AI also, if I would say so, there is predictive AI,
Mhm.
there is generative AI. You give something, it generates options. Predictive is you give a trend and it predicts that this might happen. So HR professionals should be very, very thorough in predictive AI and generative AI, mid-level, or else you'll get left behind. No denying that fact.
Okay, very nice. What about people at the senior level?
At the senior level, I think it is more about aligning human resource outcomes with business goals and strategies.
Okay,
Whereas you are seen as a contributor, not as a bystander.
correct, correct. So we have had such a wonderful discussion so far, Indranil. It's almost an hour since we started,
Yeah.
and we have to stick to the timeline. So one final word that you would like to leave this discussion with.
See, before I wind it down, firstly, see, I want to highlight that, you know, I've gone through the case studies, which is there on the Kushalta Academy website,
Okay,
and they're simply amazing.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I would encourage all the viewers of this podcast, just go to the homepage of Kushalta. Before anything, just read those case studies. They are really well done. And final word, I can sum it up by just saying the senior management values human resources when human resources brings solutions, not problems. You have to bring solutions and ideas on the table, not problems. Sir, we are having so much attrition. Sir, we are having problem bringing the right place and bringing the right people. And you know, like since we are targeting Gen Z and the young HR professionals, career growth is not a uh, you know it's not a 100 meters race. It's a marathon.
Right,
It's not built in a few moments of excitement. It is built by years of consistency, hard work, discipline.
right.
Keep learning, stay grounded, understand the business, and never ever underestimate the value of integrity and hard work. It not pay you overtly, but it will definitely pay you covertly.
Very nice. Very powerful. So thank you, Indranil. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure interacting with you and
Same here.
looking at your perspective, working in the army and then joining the corporate world. So thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
So much, Amit. You have a nice day, and I wish all your viewers they get to learn more by following your platform. Thank you so much.